we're breaking down our VEXAN Crappie lineup of spinning rods. We're starting it off with our 6'6" ultralight. We've got a few kind of models that I'm going to throw into the umbrella as all-purpose. So really pan fishing, there's a handful of techniques that you're using, but a 6'6" ultralight is just going to be kind of your all-around, whether you're pitching jigs, throwing slip bobbers, bobber fishing in general, or even some of your trout applications are going to work really good with that 6'6". 6'6" is kind of like that medium length. Next up in 6'6", we also have our light. So if you're targeting bigger fish, you're on heavier cover, or maybe you're throwing some of your bigger hair jigs and plastics, this will be a good rod for you. Very similar to that 6'6", just going to have a slightly more stout tip versus that ultralight. Now jumping up to 7'2", we've also got a light and an ultralight. So again, that ultralight is going to be good for your small hair jigs. This is one that I use a lot in the springtime when I'm up in the reeds throwing hair jigs around. That light is kind of something that I jump to. Again, if I'm targeting bigger fish, or especially around timber, I like that heavy rod just so I can kind of pull those fish out. Now, when I say heavier, I'm not trying to say these are beefy rods by any means. They're obviously still designed for panfish. They're still going to have a very sensitive tip, and they will still do a variety of different things extremely well. Also, if you're a trout angler, a 7'2" ultralight is going to be a dynamite option. Here's where we jump up to our really long rod. So if you're a bank angler or you're fishing in reeds, you want something more akin to a cane pole, but you still have a reel seat on here, these are going to be our rods for you. So the first up is our 8-foot medium light. So again, you know, jumping up to a medium light, this is really going to be kind of pulling fish out of reeds, pulling fish out of timber, flipping fish over a bank, really kind of a variety of things. It's more about the length in these rods as far as how far away you want to get your lure from the bank, from the boat, in between reeds, what have you. We've got a 10-foot medium heavy in that same sort of style with that bigger, longer, you know, reel seat. A little bit beefier, bigger fish, heavier weeds, flipping fish, solid option. And again, we're just going to kind of continue up. So we've got a 12-footer up to a 14-footer. Very similar rod blank, just longer length. So again, you want your presentation further away from the boat, further away from the bank, reaching off a dock. That is going to be kind of the design point of these longer rods. And the final thing that I want to mention is we do have an extra tip option for our 2-piece longer rod. So if you do want something more sensitive or more heavy, we have that option. It's just one of those things where if you want, you know, a dual purpose rod, you just swap out the tips on them. We have that available to you. And then, of course, jumping from 14, we go to 16 into 18, so just longer and longer lengths. These are very long rods. Again, these are more akin to a cane pole. They are going to have a reel seat on there, though, so you can reel in fish. If you are using these to cast, you know, some of these longer rods, like the 8-footers, the 10-footers, they are going to help you, you know, cast, you know, a lighter hair jig pretty far, which is kind of what I use these ones for. Our 18-foot has a light option and it has a medium heavy option. So it's kind of up to you. Medium heavy is just going to have more power. So if you want less power, more sensitivity, go with that light. You want something with more power, less sensitivity, go with the medium heavy. And last but not least, we have our Okeechobee handle series. This is going to have a very different reel seat, more akin to something kind of like a fly rod. Got a little notch in that reel seat too, which makes it more comfortable to reach and pull. And we have these in both a 10-foot and an 11-foot. There's only going to be very moderate actions. So again, you know, lots of reaching, pulling, bobber fishing off a dock, bobber fishing from the bank. Less emphasis on using a reel with these versus that long Okeechobee handle foregrip. Lots of pulling. Again, that's a very similar kind of handle setup to a fly rod. So I hope this helps you decide what rod you're going to pick up. There's a variety of options. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out as always. But this will do it for our VEXAN Crappie series and our spinning rods.